So this is part 3, and we headed for the Loire Valley on the advice of some folks that we met on the island of Ile de Loire. So this is Loire. It's a bit of a city, and we found some nice place to park right in the middle in a wee car park, and had great facilities to park in it. So went for a walk and had some lunch there, and just did a bit of enjoying ourselves. So on the Friday we travelled for a couple of hours and got to Shannon, and that's where we got the high temperatures, about 33 degrees, and it was just lovely. Lots of chateaus in this area, and we visited a couple, but just lovely places to stay, and we found a really nice campsite and just walked about the town and enjoyed it. Incredible architecture. It's a different world. Lots of wee squares like this with patisseries where you could buy really nice pastries and things. Needless to say, we put on a lot of weight. Weather was just fantastic for us. The following day we got the bikes out, and that's what's just coming up. Here we are on our first trip in the Loire Valley. The strange thing is you could just cycle through all the little towns and villages, people sitting having their dinner, and you're cycling past them.
It's a very steep hill.
So we were cycling down a path, and Karen noticed this little path, and it leads us down to, and it led us down to this river, and it was really quite nice, and it was hidden away from the main road. This was us going to one of the highlights of our holiday, and this massive chateau, Use I think it was called. And this is where Sleeping Beauty was based. The novels were based on this. I think these were the Tour de France boys. And we stopped there. We didn't go in, but we did stop outside, and I had the best burger ever. It was delicious. I think that day we did probably about 40 miles, and then got back to our site, and either we walk in the evening out to see the chateau lit up at night. So on the Sunday we headed for Amboise, and this is famously known for 2 chateaus, and also Leonardo da Vinci actually died here, and there's lots of his works in one of the chateaus. It was a beautiful place, and we had a really nice place to stay, which is like an island just in the middle of the river, and it was really lovely. We stayed there for a few days. And just down from where we were staying, there was this massive statue of Leonardo da Vinci, and obviously Karen took some pictures gazing lovingly into his eyes while holding on to his manhood. On the Monday we went some wine tasting, and I developed a nice taste for wine which I hadn't had before, and it was really interesting seeing the process of the making and the different regions and the explanation of how they classify wine.
Dry wine, very smooth, good as well. Okay? Just
And after the wine tasting, we headed back to the van, and I wondered whether to leave this in or not, but I thought I would just leave it in.
It is a video.
And Cam didn't realise that this was a video.
Are you videoing me? Seriously? Touching Leonardo da Vinci's handprints? It's quite a handful.
We then headed to Chambord. This was a place that was recommended to us, in that you could stay in the grounds of the chateau. And when we did get there, there was hundreds of vans and motorhomes all parked up. But it really was great in that you could have easy access in the evening and during the day to the chateau, which was absolutely magnificent. I thought this was quite funny, a bit of a contrast as Guy ran past, and Karen decided that she was going for a jog as well, and here she comes. Well, this must be one of the creepiest things I've done in a while. So I'm in the grounds of Chambord Chateau de Chambord, and I'm trying to see it with all the lights on, and I'm a bit lost. Don't know if you can hear in the background. It was kind of strange walking in the dark and hearing this brass band playing in the background. And this is what I'm seeing. This was the only chateau that we actually went inside and visited, and it was quite interesting seeing inside it. This was a bit like Ghostbusters, but that was then cleaning the kitchen, and but we were much more interested on what was going on outside. This was an art display by Kim In Jong. He was from South Korea, and they had this art display which was quite nice, and amongst ancient tapestries they had this modern exhibition. Quite impressive gardens. On the Wednesday we were heading to a cider farm to stay for the night, but we stopped at this place called True, and the houses, quite a lot of the houses were built into the side of the mountain, and it was quite an interesting wee place, although it rained. That was one of the few days that we got rain. So the scenery really started to flatten out. And again, it was a lovely day. It was fields and fields of just green, I don't know what it was, crops. But quite flat as we headed to a cider farm to stay for a night, and we stopped in this little village just to get some munchies. This was the little farm we stayed in, very rustic, and we got a tour of the cider making and bought plenty of bottles, and we were right in amongst the orchards, and there was just apples everywhere, and the cows would come along and they would eat them, and then during the time when they were harvesting them, they had this big machine that gathered them all up and then took them through the whole process. So this is the couple that owned the farm and ran it, and they gave us such a lovely time that night, explaining all the different processes, and we bought several bottles of cider. This was a little trip on the way to the Normandy beaches, and that would be the last video that I'm going to do. But we had a lovely night there and then headed up to the Normandy beaches, and that was a bit of a different experience for us. So thanks again for watching.